first got involved with the mission committee a few years ago, and at the same time I started getting involved and being on the mission committee, I had the opportunity to go down to the Dominican Republic and meet some folks who are connected with Kids Alive. It was just an amazing experience to see the work that was happening there and just the lives that were touched, and kids that came from situations with no hope, and then they suddenly had hope, and they had a family structure, and they were happy, and they were, learning about faith and belief in Christ and how that could make a difference in their lives. And so when I came back from that trip, I shared with the mission committee my experience. So it kind of took off from there. We had some people come up from the Dominican Republic, the Dominican couple, Vijo and Chanina, who are directors of the orphanage. I will never forget that Sunday because the people in our congregation responded so positively by their stories of kids who needed help. And people began to sponsor children and ask questions about it and want to get involved. And then a short time afterwards, we took a trip down there, a group of people from our church and a few people who weren't from our church but had connections. Sometimes I look at the condo that I live in and think, it's kind of small. But then after the mission trip, to see how they lived made me come back and rethink all the things that I take for granted and how much we have. And that just impresses upon me how I have a responsibility. God has blessed my life so incredibly much to be, one of that small percent in the world that gets to live in the luxury that we live in, and how we take that, or I personally take that for granted. I think a mission trip kind of strips you bare and makes you, it takes away all the comfort, all the things that are familiar, food, family, all your luxuries, and when you're there you realize none of that really matters. Sometimes you just have to step out of your comfort zone, and it seems like a scary thing to go on a trip like this. And I think until you do it, you don't realize how much you get back, how much you learn about yourself, how much God can teach you about yourself, the world around you, the people around you. It just opens your eyes in ways that you never could have imagined. I've never met anybody yet who's been on a mission trip and said, oh, that was horrible, I wish I hadn't done that. It might have been hard, it might have been difficult at times, but it's such a great growing experience. I love being a part of a church that values that. That a year ago that there were trips to Lithuania, to Haiti, to ASP. It doesn't have to be the DR. I just think it's great to be a part of a church that values mission here in the Fox Valley or out in the world. My name is Sharon Anderson, and I love being part of UMCG. It's a place where good things are happening and God is working in and through us.